Look around you right now. Find something blue. Your phone case. The sky outside. A shirt. It took you less than a second. But for most of human history, that word, blue, didn't exist. Not in Greek, not in Hebrew, not in Sanskrit, not in ancient Chinese, not in the Icelandic sagas. And the question that has haunted linguists and scientists for over 160 years is, if they had no word for it, did they actually see it? In 1858, British Prime Minister William Gladstone, also a serious classic scholar, published a 1,700-page study of Homer's epic poetry. Buried near the end was something nobody expected. He had counted every color reference in the Iliad and the Odyssey. Black appeared nearly 200 times, white around 100, red fewer than 15, yellow and green fewer than 10, blue, 0. Not once, not a single time. Homer described the sea as wine dark. He called the sky the color of bronze. He used the word for green to describe honey, wood, and human faces. Gladstone thought this was perhaps a quirk of Homer. So he looked at all of ancient Greek literature. Still nothing. A German philologist named Lazarus Geiger then took this further. He examined the Vedic hymns of ancient India, over 10,000 lines, overflowing with descriptions of the heavens, the sun, the dawn, the sky. He wrote, "There is one thing no one would ever learn from these ancient songs, and that is that the sky is blue." He kept going. The Quran, the Icelandic sagas, ancient Chinese texts, the Hebrew Bible, none of them contained a word for blue. Across the entire ancient world, in every civilization Geiger examined, the color appeared in exactly the same order as language developed. Every culture first named black and white, darkness and light, then red, the color of blood and fire, then yellow, then green. And always, in every language ever studied, blue came last. There was one exception, the ancient Egyptians. They were the only civilization in the ancient world to have a distinct word for blue, and it's no coincidence that they were also the only civilization who could make it. Around 2500 BC, Egyptian craftsmen developed the world's first synthetic pigment, a brilliant, stable blue made by heating limestone, sand, and copper minerals to over 800 degrees Celsius. They had a word for blue because they could produce blue. Everyone else couldn't make it, couldn't find it in nature in any abundance, and so never named it. But here's where it gets genuinely strange. Geiger's finding raises a question that science has never fully resolved. Is it possible that without a word for blue, people actually perceived it differently? Not that ancient people were blind to blue light. Their eyes had the same 3 color-sensing cones we have. But a category only exists in the mind once language gives it a boundary. In 2006, psychologist Debbie Robertson and colleagues studied the Himba people of northern Namibia, a community whose language has no separate word for blue, grouping it together with green under a single term. They showed Himba participants a circle of 11 green tiles and 1 blue tile, and asked them to identify the different one. The Himba struggled significantly. They took far longer to find the blue tile than English speakers did. But when shown 11 nearly identical shades of green and 1 slightly different green, a difference so subtle that English speakers could barely see it, the Himba spotted it immediately. Because they had more words for types of green, their minds had carved the green spectrum into finer categories. They saw more where we see less, and less where we see more. Researcher Guy Deutscher, author of Through the Language Glass, tried a quiet experiment at home. He raised his daughter without ever telling her that the sky was blue. When she was old enough, he asked her what color it was. She paused. She looked up. She said she didn't know. On different days, she guessed white, or colorless. It wasn't until she was told, given the word, the category, the boundary, that the sky became, for her, blue. The ancient Greeks were not blind. They saw the light we see. But without a word to separate blue from dark, from black, from the shimmer of water, it was not a distinct thing in the world. It was just the sky, just the sea, just there. Homer called the ocean wine dark not because he was wrong, but because for him, that was the most accurate thing he could say. The color blue, as a named, categorized, perceivable thing, is younger than civilization. And somewhere in that fact is something unsettling about the world you think you see right now. Because if ancient people looked at the sky and didn't see blue, what are you looking at every day that you simply don't have a word for yet?